Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Rated EC. I'm JB, of course. I know, I don't put myself on camera a lot, and now it's twice within like a month's time, so that's pretty scary. But anyway, I'm here out on the deck this morning, cup of coffee. Gonna do the Ask JB. I asked you guys if you wanted to know more about me. If there was questions you had, ask them, and I'd do a video. Maybe give you a little bit more background on me and potentially how I maybe look at knives and, you know, just where I might be coming from, that type of thing. Now, it's not, trust me, I'm not the first one to do this. JT's answered a whole bunch of questions. Slicey Dicey's done it, and I thought it was just a really good idea. Like I said, to give you guys maybe some more. Just some insight into me and who I am and why I do the things I do, why I review knives, that type of thing. So, got a whole bunch of questions here. I'm going to try to go through them as quickly and accurately as possible so I don't make this too darn long. But let's just get into it, see how it goes. So the first one comes from my good buddy Larry Suchek. I hope I said that right, Larry. Hey Jody, just wondering, what is your favorite pistol brand and your favorite caliber? Well, in today's environment, you know, I don't personally do a whole lot of that aspect of EDC on my channel, and I think y'all probably have a pretty good idea why. But anyway, my favorite pistol brand is Ruger, Larry. I own 2 Rugers. I really like them. I have an SR40C and I have an SR22, and I really like the 40. That's probably my favorite caliber. I mean, it's a good round. I like shooting it, and it just fits me, you know, especially the SR40C. It fits my hand really well. I had to look for quite a while. I know everybody's there's a lot of big Glock fans out there, but I just really did not like the way Glocks fit in my hand. So, there you go. Thank you very much, Larry. This one's from Sean. Geared Toward Gear. He says, what is the one knife that you have always wanted and never owned? The next one I buy. No, I mean, I never really had a grail. Well, the 940 was kind of a grail. I mean, I saw it. I absolutely fell in love with it. I just loved the look of it. Ordered one. Love it. Slim. I love that reverse Tanto blade. But yeah, I just love knives, my friend. And we'll see here in a minute or in a little bit. It's a pretty nice one I got over here, but it's the answer to someone's question a little bit later down the road. But yeah, seriously, the next one I buy is my favorite at that time. My exact favorite right now is this one. You'll see it in a minute. Thanks, buddy. Dave Donkey, do you do any sea fishing? Yes, I do. We live pretty much right on the Puget Sound here in Washington, and I do a lot of I do some salmon fishing, halibut fishing, bottom fishing, that type of thing. Right here on the Sound. Now, I do try to get out to the ocean at least once a year, and trust me, that doesn't sound like much, but it's hard enough getting out there with work and everything else. And do a charter out there, so like either salmon, halibut, bottom fishing, that type of thing. I really want to go on a tuna trip. That is the one thing I would like to do, is I'd like to get on a tuna trip. So, thank you very much for that question, Dave. This is from Robert T. I'd like to know what got you into knives and how long you have been. Finding my first knife at roughly about 12 years old. That's what got me into it. I found that, I mean, I've showed it in quite a few videos, but I found a little Victorinox, or excuse me, it wasn't a Victorinox at that time, Swiss Army knife, Wagner, and I'm not even 100% sure on the exact model. I was pretty beat up when I found it. I was 12 years old. I was not kind to it. I still have it. It's still beat up. So that's what got me into it. And so if I was 12, I'm from now, so about 35 years. You can do the math. That's about how long I've been into it. So thank you very much for that question, Robert. Rhino54, what is your biggest fish? And which fish was your favorite fish to catch? Well, my biggest fish was a 42, 43 pound halibut. That's the biggest fish I've ever caught, and that's a small halibut. I mean, when you go up to Canada and Alaska up there and they're catching them 200 pounds, 42 pounds is a small for the species, big for me. That is by far the biggest fish I've ever caught. And my favorite, well, I mean, I have a giant largemouth on my arm. I grew up fishing for largemouth. It's still by far my favorite fish to go after. I love fishing for just about, I will fish for anything. Don't get me wrong. People say, you know, I say I like fishing for carp. And people are like, why would you? Because they fight. They're a fun fish to catch. So, not so much to eat. And that's the thing. I'm not a big fish fan to eat. You know, like the salmon and stuff. Not much. Now, if we go back to the bass, bluegill, walleye, halibut. That's good, but yeah, largemouth is definitely my favorite to fish for. So thank you, Rhino. Appreciate it. Boyd McDonald 1 asks, what is my favorite cold steel knife? That's pretty easy. My favorite cold steel knife right now would have to be my red Fenwolf. One, it's an awesome knife. It's a cold steel, that triad lock. You're not going to beat it as far as back locks. It's red. And it was a gift from a great friend, Grateful Panic. So that is easily my favorite cold steel knife right at the moment. Thanks, Boyd. Scott F. Do you like guns? And if so, what is your favorite gun to shoot? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have, like I talked before, I have a few handguns. I have a lot of rifles. There for a while, I was collecting World War II era rifles. I never got a M1. That would probably be my favorite if I had one. But I've got a Japanese rifle, French, Yugoslavian. I've got quite a few World War II era, and I have gotten rid of a couple, but my favorite one to shoot would have to be my Mosin Nagant, 7.62 by 54R. Love shooting that gun. It's an old one, but man, it shoots so true, and it makes me look good, which isn't easy, but it does. It makes me look very good. So that by far is probably my favorite one to shoot. So thank you very much, Scott. Richard Davis. All right. Jody, what are your 5 most carried knives? Okay. 5 most carried knives. That Victorinox Pioneer X. I carry that quite a bit. Let's see. I have a partially serrated leek that is in my lunch bag. That one never leaves my lunch bag. It's my food knife for at work and stuff like that. I call it my work steak knife. That one definitely gets carried because it's always in my lunch bag. The blue camo Ratfink, I cannot remember. It's a Ganzo. I cannot remember the exact model on it. But the one you sent me, that one is in my EDC bag. It's kind of like a reserve backup knife kind of sort of thing. That one gets carried quite a bit. So that's 3. What else? Oh, I've got a little SOG key knife on my keychain. That one, it's always with me. It's on my keys. It's got a blade. It counts. So that one is probably the most carried. That's 4. What else would be... What would be the other one? What would be number 5? Probably my most carried knives. Man, I got 4 of them right off the bat. I carry a lot of knives because I do a lot of the... I rotate knives with the channel and everything like that. Oh. Wow. Well, it would have to be probably my Maxim Sailor's knife, because I carried that one quite a bit for work. Now I carry the British Army clasp knife that my buddy Stuart, shout out to Stuart, sent me. So I carry that one quite a bit now at work, because that's kind of what it's made for. Blade, it's got a marlin spike on it. I use that quite a bit for shackles. So that would probably be the 5 that get carried the most, without a doubt. So thank you very much, Rick. Jesse B, how long have you been a YouTuber and what got you into it? I've been a YouTuber for just over a year. I started in June of last year. So what got me into it was my son. He had a channel at the time, a gaming channel. He doesn't really do anything with it anymore. But he knew I watched, all these channels, knife channels, Bird, Frankie and Bird, Patty, just everybody, Jimmy Slash. And he's like, dude, you have so many knives, you should do that. And I was like, man, nobody wants to hear me talk about knives. He's like, you'd be surprised. Okay. So one weekend when he was home visiting, we got a tripod, a light, and I went to it. And I haven't stopped, which that's pretty cool. So it's my son's fault. If you want, we can blame him. Anyway, there's a second part. It says, what sharpening system do you recommend? Mahalo. I'll be quite honest with you, Jesse, that's kind of a hard one for me, for the simple fact that I am no sharpening expert whatsoever. I guess the truest and most correct answer that I can give you is the best one is the one that works for you. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but it's true. I use the original Work Sharp. I mean, it works for me. It's probably not the best sharpening system out there, but it works for me. I can sharpen my knives. I can get them to shave hairs. So my dad always told me if it shaves, it's sharp, and it works for me. I'm not very good at hand sharpening yet. I'm working on it. I'm getting there. But I know a lot of people love their KMEs, their Wicked Sharps. I mean, you could ask 5 different people and get 5 different answers. That question. You really could. So it's really trial and error. You just have to find something. And I know it can be expensive, because if you buy like a KME or something like that, and then it doesn't work for you, well, but that is the most honest answer I can give you, brother. So sorry if it's kind of a cop-out, but that's the one I got to give you, my man. But thank you very much for your question. Jeremy Bryan, what do you shave with? Well, not much. No. No, I don't shave. I do shave my neck. I use just a trimmer to shave my neck, and I do use a disposable razor to kind of clean up, which it's probably time to do right now. But other than that, no, I haven't been clean shaven since I got out of the military. And obviously, I haven't got a solid haircut since I got out either. And people ask me why. And I'm like, I ran out when I was in the military. I was in the military for just over 20 years. 20 years and 11 days. And I tell them I used them all up. I used to get a haircut every 2 weeks, to be within the military standards. And yeah, I ran out. I don't have any left. And shaving, that was probably the worst part of being in the military. I hate shaving. Yeah. So, thank you, Jeremy. Marshall. This one comes from my good buddy Marshall. Marshall Law 123 on Instagram. If you could have any sort of fixed blade custom made for you today, what blade shape and handle material would you want and why? That one's pretty easy. You remember when we were at Blade Show West, and I've shown it, I did a review on it here on the channel, but I got the Ben Akins Small Hunter. I absolutely love that blade shape, drop point, full flat grind. Love that knife. It's got an ebony wood handle on it. If I could put a red micarta handle on that, that would probably be the perfect knife. Why? Because I love micarta. 2, it's red, and I love that style. I just love that blade. So that would probably be my custom knife of choice. And his second part of his question was, and why am I such an awesome friend? That question right there is what makes you such an awesome friend, buddy. No, you're an absolutely awesome dude. I loved hanging out with you at Blade Show West last year. I hope we can do it again this year. It was a total blast. You're an awesome person, generous. I love you, man. You're an awesome dude, and that's why. That's what makes you so awesome. Thanks, buddy. Patty's potato peelers. Other hobbies. Well, we've kind of touched on a couple of them. Fishing. I love to fish. Excuse me. Shooting. I love shooting. Not hunting. I haven't hunted in forever, but shooting. I love to shoot. Go to the range. Oh, let's see. I need a drink quick, guys. What other hobbies? Gardening. Yeah. The big hairy biker looking dude loves to garden, and I do. I love my flowers. That is definitely a hobby of mine. I post on my personal a lot. Some of you know my personal Instagram, and I post a lot of pictures there. I'm having an issue with my personal Instagram right now. I can post pictures, but I can't like or comment on anybody else's stuff, so that's weird. But I do post a lot of pictures there. I do love to garden. Weeding. I take my frustrations out on weeds. Yeah. Rip them out of the ground. Definitely. So, it's better than taking them out on someone else, right? I mean, so, but yeah, I love to garden. So those would probably be my 3 main hobbies that I do. Outside of knives, of course. So, thank you, Patty. Always good to hear from you, my friend. Lucum Jones. What did you do in the military, JB? I was a submariner. I was a sonar operator and technician, mechanic. I worked on the submarine sonar, which means sonar, you probably have a pretty good idea of what sonar is, but if you don't, it's kind of sort of like underwater radar. There's several different types of sonar, and I really won't get into too much depth in it, but primarily, you listen. You wear headphones, and you listen for what's out there in the ocean. And trust me, you can, if you know what you're listening for and have been trained, you can tell exactly what's out there for the most part. So that's what I did. You're pretty much the eyes and ears of the submarine, which that's pretty cool when you think about it. But yeah, did that for, like I said, just over 20 years. So thank you very much, Lucum, for that question. Rakazma, my question is, how did you get your channel name? Why and how you started your channel? I just answered that portion of the question. So, the why and how. And how has the community changed your life, and how long did you serve in the fine country? Serve our fine country, excuse me. There again, 20 years and 11 days to be exact. I joined on June 19th of 1989, and I retired on June 30th. 2009. So, the how and why I started my channel, I answered that one. My channel name, I grew up in Nebraska. Guys, this whole arm is nothing but pretty much Nebraska tattoos. I've been a Nebraska football fan my whole life. Go Big Red. I'm a Cornhusker through and through. Go Big Red, Big Red, Big Red EDC. That's pretty much how I came up with it. How has the community changed my life? There again, that kind of goes back to the whole military thing. I was in the military, and when I got out, and I started the channel and stuff, and I just really got immersed in the community. I met so many wonderful people. And I was talking to my son, after I'd been doing the channel a while, and he's like, so do you think this community replaced the camaraderie in the community of the military, the Navy? And I was like, yeah, it did. And it wasn't until I started doing this and got into the community that I realized I was missing that. I really was. And that's how it's changed my life. Like I said, that was my favorite part of the Navy, was the people, the guys I worked with. And by far, this is the best part of this community, is the people, without a doubt. So, thank you very much for Cosmo. That was an awesome, awesome question. Mr. Zach, from Zach Stuff, my good buddy. What inspired your love for the color red? Well, I kind of answered that question too, but there again, go big red. I'm a Cornhusker. It's got to be red. Thanks, buddy. Tucker S., if you could only have 2 knives for the rest of your life, one fixed blade and what folder, what would they be? Well, I kind of answered that question. If I could have that fixed blade, you know, the Ben Akins Small Hunter style, I won't necessarily say that exact knife, but that basic style of knife with a red micarta handle, that's my fixed blade. And at this exact moment, if I'd have done this video yesterday, this might not have been my answer, but this came today. And right now, it is my favorite knife. Yeah. My CRK Small Sabenza with red micarta inlays. It just came today. And right now, this would be my folder of choice at this exact moment. So, yeah. That happened. But thank you very much for your question, Tucker. I greatly appreciate it. And last one on this list. It's from Rick Cairns. Rick has been following the channel forever. What is your favorite pattern? I've heard you say the Sodbuster often, but I just saw your Barlow video. Oh, yeah. Second question. Well, let's do that first. What are you saying about the Barlow? If you haven't seen my old-timer Barlow video, that knife that knife gave me a feeling of comfort that I've never had from any other knife. It just reminded me of anything good in the... I don't know. I was just so comfortable with that knife. It gave me just a feeling of peace. But my absolute favorite pattern is... Oh, excuse me, guys. As far as traditionals go, it is the Sodbuster. I have several Sodbusters. I love that pattern. It's a terrific work knife. Yeah, the Sodbuster is my favorite pattern. But that Barlow, there's just something a little bit special about that Barlow. And that's the only Barlow I have. And I might have to be changing that after I recover from buying the Chris Reeves. But anyway. But yes, the Sodbuster is my favorite traditional pattern by far. Second question. What job do you do? I'm a crane rigger. You said you're a crane rigger, and I was curious what that entails. Okay. I am a crane rigger. What that entails is I rig loads to be connected to the crane, and then I signal the crane to get that load to where it needs to go. And in the course of my job, that's what I do. You know, I cut rope, twine. That's why I always have a knife on me. A knife is the primary tool of my job. And that's kind of why the sailor's knife or the British Army clasp knife kind of come in handy, is because they obviously have a blade, but they also have, you know, the marlin spike for if a shackle gets kind of bound up, I can loosen it up with the marlin spike and stuff like that. But that's what I do. Rig loads, prepare loads to be lifted by the crane, and then connect it to the crane and signal the crane to get the load where it needs to go. So, well, there you go, guys. That is all the questions I have for right now. If you want to know more and you want to see another one of these, ask me the question down here. Put another question in the comments. If I haven't, you know, if there's something you want to know that I didn't answer today, put the question down in the comments, and I'll do another one of these. And if you don't, well, okay. No, I mean, I don't know. This just seemed like a good idea to me. It just seemed like kind of a fun idea to do. So, there you go. If you got more questions, put them down in the comments. I'll do another one of these here sometime into the future. So, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending some time with me. It's 25 minutes. I got to get off here. I don't want to use up any more of your time today, guys. But like, subscribe, leave me a comment. You know I love talking to you. And until next time, I'll talk to y'all later, guys. Bye-bye.